Well, it's Thursday, and you all know what that means. That means once again we have, of course, TNA Wrestling. As you know, we're only one day away before No Surrender. So anything could happen before then, before certain matches taking place, such as Simon Gotch versus Josh Alexander, the TNA World Heavyweight title, the tag team titles. Everything else could happen before anything. But we also move on with Ring of Honor. As you know, we continue with more of the first round of the ROH World Women's Television Title Tournament. So we will see who will advance in the next round. But the main event features, of course, a 2 out of 3 fall tables match for the ROH World Women's title. Athena puts her belt on the line, but she has been dealing with Nyla Rose, who's been causing nothing but trouble to try to take away her world that she created with her bare hands. But the obvious question is, as the native beast has been torturing her, will she be able to come on top? Well, we'll find out soon enough. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing Stardom with their much recent show from February 18 in Shibuya. Now, not a lot in things have gone into this particular show. However, matches were good, and not to mention a prelude before we get to New Japan in Sapporo for New Beginning between Mayu Iwatani and Mina Shirakawa. And then we cap it up with some news updates to give you guys what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as events that the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, and of course, any developments going on. Apparently, more information has been coming up for the annual Forbidden Door 3, and I think many people are saying, is this a rumor or this is really happening? And of course, some interesting news for Wrestle Universe. As you know, this is a streaming service that only broadcasts Noah, Pro Wrestling Noah, DDT, Gambari Pro, and Tokyo Show Pro Wrestling, and I think many of you will be happy to hear about it. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews. We talk about various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. Real timing news updates and do Nagasaki Watch and various other things. So if you guys like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool stuff as well on this channel. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, so let's begin with our very first review, and that is from Stardom in Shibuya. Okay, so let's begin with Stardom in Shibuya. This took place on the 18th of February. It opened up with tag team action. We have Oedo Tai, or should I say Young Oedo, consistent of Raka and Rina. They take on EXV, or should I say Empress Nexus Venus, consistent of Hanako and Waka Tsukiyama. Now, you probably would think that Hanako will definitely have an opportunity if she could pin the current future of Stardom champion for her belt. However, we know that that's probably not going to happen at this point because she will be mostly focused on Miyu Amasaki. But this puts Hanako and Waka Tsukiyama in a way to prepare themselves since they are trying to improve themselves for a chance of the new blood tag team titles. You could say that would work, but however, Oedo Tai, as you know, with Rina and Raka having experience as a tag team together, that kind of played out in a factor. But Rina, who's proving to be the future of Stardom, put away Hanako with the jackknife and giving them the win. However, for some odd reason, right when Raka and Rina were walking out, they were attacked from behind between Raka and Rina. I'm sure, of course, you can say that they felt like they're a bunch of losers, but the fact is, they don't have that much of experience. I think this is what Saya Ida felt about. You see, as you know, Waka and Hanako have their sights set on those belts, but they have no showing for it because they haven't been improving yet on their skills. So we'll see where that leads us from here on out. Now, our next match, we have a three-way match. We have Mai Sakurai versus Hana versus our current high-speed champion, Mei Shida. Now, I wasn't too sure how this is going to go. I know in the past, Mai Sakurai and Mei Shida have teamed up. Not to mention, she tried to get her to work for her as a, I don't know, like a bodyguard, butler, or whatever she wanted. But Mei Shida had no interest in that. And of course, we did see an incredible tag match between both Sakurai and Hanan back in Supreme Fight, but it didn't, like, not in Cork and all, my bad, but it didn't do so well. But however, it was a pretty good match, and I think many people have often talked about how the in-ring fighting between both Hanan and Mei Sita may sit well for both of them. But unfortunately, things didn't go exactly for Sakurai and Hanan's way because somehow Hanan ended up on the wrong side of the what's called, yeah, the Paradise Lock, but it was Mesita with the shooting star Dragon Sleeper that put it away and Mesita picking up the win. So that sets it up from there. Now next up we have Oedo Tai consisting of Starlight Kid, Momo Watanabe, and Natsuko Tora. They take on the Cosmic Angels with the apprentice Sayaka Kurara, Rina Mizumori, and of course Tam Nakano. The match was okay, but I was a bit skeptical how Sayaka Kurara has volunteered herself to step up, even though Tam is asking her, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Knowing the fact that Natsuko Tora is no joke, she's no slouch either. But I think I see the fighting spirit coming from Sayaka. I think for her, joining Cosmic Angels have put her in that position where she can learn to be stronger, not to give up. I think that's the advice that Yuna Mizumori told her. No matter how many times you lose, don't give up. And I think that's a good positive thing. I mean, Sayaka Kurara will be picking up for first win when the time comes. But I have to say, someone commented this, and I have to agree. She has speared many people. And the latest one on this match was Starlight Kid. I mean, she speared Micah, she speared Azuki, and I forgot who else, but I was like, wow, she speared Starlight Kid, one of the top stars. I think many people can say, despite the fact that Sayaka Kurara could lose this match, but she continues to impress us. And I think it kind of showed us she's definitely learning to be stronger now since becoming an apprentice for Cosmic Angels. And I think she'll do just fine. But however, it was Starlight Kid with the Black Tiger leg killed onto her that picked up the win. Now, during the post match, I don't know what Tam did. You all saw it. For those who don't know, let me explain. She got close to her and she whispered something in her ear. Now, Starlight Kid said that she didn't hear her that very well. I think she's just doesn't want to tell the people what really is, or she just ignored it. Who knows? But yes, that's what really happened. Now, our next match, we have a tag match. We have, of course, the return of FWC, uh, Koguma and Azuki taking on Suzuki and Julia. Now, it's great to see Koguma. You know about her shenanigans, try to have people chase her, try to run. I mean, I have to say, she is fast as hell. Well, Sudi can catch up to her, but Zuzu wasn't having it. I mean, when she got in her face, it's more like saying bitch, I'm not having this. So basically, she wasn't playing games whatsoever. Zuzu's not the kind who plays games, if you guys ever noticed that. I mean, neither is Julia, but unfortunately, she tried to give her the bear ears, but Julia was not having it either. So you can say that, these two are not playing games either. But, um, however, it was Zuzu that picked up the win onto, I think it was Koguma, but the match was over right from there. I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to feud between both Zuzu and Koguma, which will be interesting, but we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match, we have God's Eye, consisting of Rana Yagami, Saki Kashima, Amisuri, Mirai, and Shuri, taking on Queen's Quest, Miyu Amasaki, Lady C, Azumi, Saya Kamitani, and Utami Ayashida. Now, this is the most funniest part that happened at the start of the match. Suri holding on to Kashima, tosses her in the ring, and then everybody bailed. I thought that was so funny. I mean, of course, Saki Kashima. I think the dynamic between God's Eye is kind of interesting. You have someone who likes to play a little trick, tricky games, and you try to play back. I think that's a good dynamic team. I mean, I think it's a lot of fun. But however, you probably would think, did Kashima lost this match because of it? No. Basically, they were building up the momentum for Miyu Amasaki. Now, keep in mind, Miyu Amasaki issued the challenge for the future of Stardom belt, and she took that win by applying the Tensei onto Yagami to pick up the win. I'm sure Rina is, of course, looking at her, knowing that she could be a potential problem. As you know, Rina has the intention to break her sister's record, Hanan. Don't forget, Hanan has broken the record, has the most consecutive defenses as a future belt. And I'm sure if Miyamasaki is the one who's going to put that dream of hold on her, that I will take it as a threat. So we'll see it when that day comes. Now, our main event, stars consisting of Yuzuki, Saya Ida, and of course Mayu Iwatani taking on EXV, um, Xena, Mina Shirakawa, and Maika. Now, don't forget, as you know, when we are only one day away from, of course, Sapporo for New Japan, Mina challenged for the IWGP World Women, the Women's Championship. You would think there's going to be some interesting moments in this match. However, this match ended in a note with Mina Shirakawa applying the figure eight leg lock onto Yuzuki. And of course, during the post match, Mina is confident enough to believe that she will walk out as the champion, claiming that Stardom doesn't need someone like Mayu Iwatani anymore because, as you know, it's no secret that Mayu has been emotional disturbed due to the dismissal of Rossi. But of course, it's no secret that Mayu has shown her weakness in the past. Like not once, not twice, but plenty of times due to betrayal, due to some hardship, that sort of thing. And I think that's something that Mina is taking advantage. But however, I feel maybe Mayu can overcome those. But we will see that match soon enough when that happens. So for right now, I think we're just gonna end things right now with Stardom and move on with our next review, and that is of course TNA. Okay, TNA opened up with Chris Sabian taking on Jason Hodge. Now, as you know, for the past since Mustafa Ali made the announcement that he will be challenging Chris Sabin for the X Division Championship, the good hand has been making him be on his nerves, saying that change needs to happen in the X division. And of course, he already recently took out John Skyler. Now he deals with the other monkey in his back, and that is, of course, Jason Hodge. Now you would think that this match will fall in favor of the good hands to teach him a lesson that change needs to happen. But Saban did not let that happen with the good hands when he, of course, Skyler got involved, and then Hodge misfired on him, took him out, and then of course Saban applied the cradle shock, and it was over right from there. However, during the post match, Mustafa Ali put out a video promo saying that the X Division needs better leadership, better quality. which of course that's what he's aiming for. But Chris Sabin is not impressed, is unhappy with, not happy with the fact that he's calling him that he is unfit. So we will see what happens at No Surrender. Now, as you know, the system has been, how do you know, trying to say that the system works in their favor, meaning that things will go their way 100%. However, Santino Morella made it perfectly clear that no one from the system be around. But however, if they put their hands on Alex Shelley, that's a result of disqualification, and the belt will go strictly to Alex Shelley. However, he did stated that Shelley's buddies will also be in that same predicament. However, of course, the system are okay with that because they're saying the system worked, knowing that okay, they'll stay out of his, that things will go their way. So they think that played out pretty well for them. So we'll see. Now, as you know, with the arrival of Simon Gotch, was in the match against a guy I never heard of named Jack Price. However, there is a no touching clause going around with Josh Alexander and Simon Gotch before No Surrender. Uh, Alec, Alexander made his appearance all the way to the commentary table. Now, of course, he was giving his feedback towards about what happened 5 years ago. Not to mention Matthew Renrold, one of the commentators who knows Simon Koch all too well, doesn't know what was his motivation turning back. So basically, there's that. But you know that Simon Gotch has his sights set on Alexander, who's watching. So he did took out, of course, Jack Price with the choke bulldog, and we'll see what happens in No Surrender. Now, as you know, since the arrival of the grizzled young veterans, they've been determined to prove that they are the true standards of what tag team wrestling is all about. But they indicated that they need these tag titles to prove a point. Now, we know they're talented, we know they're good, but they're taking this way out of proportion in some capacity. But we will see what happens when we get there. Now, our next match, we have Trent Seven along with Speedball Mike Bailey. They take on, of course, uh, Steve Macklin, who's being accompanied by the Rascals. Now, ever since Steve Macklin, who did not like the idea of Ryan Mennett getting involved, kind of, no, Nick Mennett getting involved in his business, that sort of puts out. But at the same time, Trent Seven showed up to even the odds. But that kind of puts it into proportion. You would think that the Rascals would be a problem, which they were. Even Speedball took them out. But unfortunately, Steve Macklin took out Trent Seven with of course, the KIA, and it was over right from there. However, this thing is not done, and apparently, Trent Seven and Speedball are calling themselves out as a tag team, Speedball Mountain. Not bad, very catchy. I like it. So I think we have a good team. But however, they did put out a warning towards against of course the Rascals, saying that they will see them at No Surrender. So we'll see what happens until we get there. Now, as you know, Giselle Shaw, she is the number one contender that will face Jordan Grace at No Surrender. She made it clear that she got rid of the dead weight in her life, which is the Shaw Taraj. However, Giselle Shaw tried to compliment her, but of course, she'd rather have her speak on one ear, and whatever it was she's speaking goes out the other. So basically, she's like shoving everything out of her ears because she did not want to hear her nonsense. Now, since the start of the year, we saw how two original TNA originals are fighting each other. We're talking about Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian. So basically, we did see what was happening. Apparently, Kazarian was supposed to be in a match against Eric Young, and he did not want to. So he called in a ghost from his past, and that ghost is none other than Big Damo. You may know him with a different name from another time during their time in WWE. Forgot what was they called, but it kind of played out in his hands. But you would think that maybe Frank Kazarian, who is happy to see the card up close, will be satisfied. However, that didn't stop it because it was Eric Young with the pile driver that put away Big Damo to give him the win. However, during the post match, EY told him that he will see him at No Surrender. Now, Danny Luna and Jody Threat, as you know, they've been dealing with this whole mess that happened right after the whole TNA Knockout Tag Team titles were up in grabs. Now, as you know, MK Ultra, who are trying to get back into get their titles back, Jody Threat decided that okay, let's go. That they how things were going. But however, Danny Luna informed her, let's just wait to see what happens after the match. So they're gonna keep a close eye out between, of course, MK Ultra and Decay for those tag titles. Now our next match we have Ash by Elegance making her in-ring debut to take on Savannah Thorne. So this is her debut match. You would think that this was going to be that this was going to be a difficult match. No, you probably thought, okay, they're going to smooth her in by putting a jobber, as you think, someone named Savannah Thorne. And of course, that match ended with Ash by Elegance in a swanton bomb. Now, it's no secret that there is a possibility that we could see Ash by Elegance challenge for the TNA Knockouts World title. So we'll see when that day comes precisely. Now, our main event, we have the System. Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, and Moose taking on Kevin Knight, Kushida, and Alex Shelley. You think this match was going to get out of control? Yes, it was. Not to mention, we did see, of course, Alicia Edwards gets involved, and then, of course, Moose speared Kevin Knight, even though Kevin Knight had an amazing match in this. But unfortunately, the match didn't go in his favor because it ended in favors of the System. And of course, this match ended with a brawl between both sides. So basically, all hell just broke loose, just like that. So we'll see what happens until no surrender. But right now, let's move on with our next and final review, Ring of Honor. Okay, Ring of Honor. Now, as I mentioned before, we have begun the ROH Women's World Television Title Tournament. Now, this was a title that was announced many weeks ago by Tony Khan, and of course, now we're seeing women who are claiming that they are the ones who are more deserving for the title. We have, of course, Layla Hirsch, what's her name, Billy Starks, and many others. But the honest question does tell who will be facing who for the next, of course, in the next round. So we begin with our very first one in that particular match. We have Taya Valkyrie versus Susie Love. Now, I don't know who she is. The commentator seems they know who she is, but however, I had a feeling with this match it was going to fall into favor with, of course, with Taya Valkyrie. So she picked up the win when she applied the curb stomp and it was over. However, it was later revealed that her next opponent will be none other than Queen Aminata. However, Taya Valkyrie saying that this title is meant for someone like her because they're all about TV, and that's exactly what Johnny, her husband, Johnny TV, has been doing. But however, her opponent, Queen Aminata, thinks that this image is a load of crap because you know, certain wrestlers know the reputation of others, and Queen Manamata is telling her, bring out that one character, not this fake TV person that you set out to be. So the obvious question is, will Taya Valkyrie respond to her that, or she will be in the same predicament? Well, we'll see. Now, our next match, we have Lee Johnson taking on Sonico. Now, we know in the last couple of weeks Lee Johnson has been on a roll, but the real question is could he apply that with Sonico? Well, he did. He picked up a really impressive win towards him, and now he is 3 and 0. So basically, this is his third and straight win. Now, as we continue more with the ROH Women's World Television Title Tournament, we have Red Velvet taking on Sandra Moon. Now, if you guys aren't familiarized with Sandra Moon, she normally makes her appearance in West Coast Pro and, of course, in Marvelous. But she faced against Red Velvet, who is also in the tournament. But you would guess that this match was going to be easy, but no. I like how they were putting the match up in grabs with Sandra Moon, who is well known in the independents, but it was Red Velvet with the spinning roundhouse kick that put her away and gave her the win. Now, next up, we have Brandon Cutler versus he's nice and very evil, Danhausen. Yes, I think this is one of my funniest favorite matches to watch. Now, you all seen Danhausen that he likes to curse people, but he said that he gives a cold curse. Now, nobody knows what he said. Now, it's no secret that Brandon Color has those cold sprays that would help him win the matches. However, it did not work because he told Danhausen told Bryce Frinsberg, "Don't get involved. Let him do it." So he tried to spray it on him, and nothing happened. So they tried another bottle, another can, nothing happened. So basically, the theory from what Caprice Coleman said, Danhausen put a curse on the cold spray. So, but of course, Brandon Cutler and Colt Cabana, who we like to call Dumb and Dumber, in the other hand, accidentally cold sprayed themselves, and then of course, Danhausen applied the a pump kick with the teeth on his mouth, and it was over right from there. So, real funny match. So, but I loved it. Now, as we continue with more of the ROH Women's World Television Title Tournament, we have Abaddon versus Viva Van. I was surprised to see Viva Van. It's no secret about her reputation. But Abaddon, we know that she has been making plays recently in Ring of Honor, and I think that was the main reason she was here in Ring of Honor to compete in the tournament. Now, I cannot recall much about this one, but I can recall that Abaddon applied the Black Dahlia onto Viva Van to proceed the match. Now, I cannot remember who she'll be facing, but yes, that's going to be interesting to see. Our next match, we have Anthony Henry versus Ethan Page. As you know, Ethan Page has been on a tear recently. We haven't seen Kyle Fletcher. We know that he's been targeting the ROH World Television title, which is something he has strongly desired. But this match was neither going to be easy for Ethan Page, but he was able to pull it off when he applied his own cutter onto him, and it was over from there. Now, we continue with more of the ROH Women's World Television Title Tournament. We have Robin Renegade versus Billy Starks. Now, we all could agree that Billy Starks in this particular match is the fan favorite to win the tournament, which, of course, I mean, right now, I think one of ones that I do know, people say Layla Hirsch is the fan favorite and that sort of thing. But it was very interesting. But Billy Starks applied a hammerlock vice, which is a submission, kind of like you're choking the person, and that put away Robin Renegade to pick up the win. So right now, she is probably going to be on the roll for that. Now, our next match we have is R.A. Fox versus Matt Sydal versus Commander versus Exodus Prime. So anything could happen. I'm not sure if this is a four-corner survival match, but it was pretty good. But it was in fact Commander with a springboard running shooting star press onto Exodus Prime to pick up the win. So very impressive. Now our next match, we have the ROH Women's World title in a 2 out of 3 falls tables match. Now, as you know, for many weeks we saw a Nyla Rose, who's been determined to make a play for the ROH women's title for who knows how long. Not to mention she attacked Athena in her school, and not to mention claiming that the minions are her territory now. However, that Billy Starks was frustrated, but we know that Billy will never give in to Nyla Rose no matter what. But Athena made her return loud and clear, so things escalated. So, however, of course, Athena was issued a challenge to her, but Nyla Rose decided, let's make this a 2 out of 3 falls tables match. But I can tell you how this one went. Nyla Rose picked up the first fall on the table and then of course Athena did. And the same, but however, who was gonna walk out in the sudden death? Well, that was Athena who did it when she knocked her out, and boom, it was over. So basically, right now, Athena reigns supreme as our current ROH Women's Television Champion. But however, the main focus, I believe, is going to be now with ROH, with Ring of Honor at the moment, is of course the ROH Women's World Television Title Tournament. We'll see what happens next week. But right now, let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with updates with the promotions on their upcoming events. Now, as you know, in March 2nd, House of Glory will have the Reckoning. They announced that we have Sweet Cheeks will be taking on He's Nice and Very Evil Dan Housen. So I'm kind of curious about this match, and I hope everybody does. So let's see what happens. Now, another match has been announced for the collaboration between Marvelous and West Coast Pro for West Coast that takes place on the 23rd of March. They announced Shigusa Nagayo, Queen Aminata, and Takumi Iroha will be teaming up to take on Miu Momono, Sandra Moon, and Masha Slamovich. Now, here's a note for this particular match. It turns out that this will be Nagayo's final match in the US. So this is going to be a sad moment. But if anybody who's attending this particular show um, and you want to see her for the last time, go get your tickets now. So go get it now, boys and girls, before it's too late. Now, as you know, we're almost 2 months away before WrestleMania weekend. As you know, amongst those shows is the Collective with the Joey Janela Spring Break 8. Three matches have been announced. We have Masato Tanaka and Minoru Tanaka taking on, Minoru Suzuki. They take on Rina Yamashita and Masha Slamovich. Then there's a six-man tag team match involving this talent from Dragon Gate. And then, of course, we have Gringo Loco versus Volador Jr. And then we have East East and West Express and Speedball taking on the Rock and Roll Express and Kerry Morton. So those are the promotional events. Now let's talk about certain developments. Now, as you know, we are anticipating the return of the Forbidden Door. Some people say there could be some interesting changes coming up. Many people are talking about the potential we could see Stardom talent make their way there too. We've been asking for this for almost 2 years. So that's something that will be talked about at another time. But however, that's not what I'm talking about at this moment. It was later revealed that they could have the Forbidden Door and Arthur Ashe, a very well-known venue down in New York City. Now we know that this is the same venue where they do the Grand Slam. It's still indications. There are those who are commenting. So does that mean there's no Grand Slam this year? Well, who knows? But I'm sure many of you will love to see this one. Now, finally, for our last development. Now, if you guys don't have Wrestle Universe, then you should check it out. Now, those who don't know what that is, let me explain to you. This is a streaming service where you can see promotions like DDT Pro Wrestling Noah, Gambare Pro, Tokyo Oshi Pro Wrestling. You can only sign up for it for nearly $10 a month. However, there was a news announcement that was made that Sendai Girls, Michinoku Pro Wrestling, and of course Real Zero One will be having streaming service with Wrestle Universe. It's no secret that Wrestle Universe has done streaming service for others. We know that Prominence did two of their shows there, but we haven't seen them since then. But they even mentioned that they had the CML Lady Ring show that took place not too long ago. They will be streaming for that too. So if you guys don't have Wrestle Universe, you should check it out. It's only $10, but I think they might do a free trial run. Hold on, let me look it up because there are times they do that. They like to do a free trial run for you guys if you're interested. So let's see about that. I don't like doing this on my phone, but the internet. Okay, let's see. Nope, not this time. They don't have that. There are times they do that. You can also download the app. So all you got to do is set up your account, email and password, and uh, subscribe to it. So you should check it out. If you guys don't have Wrestle Universe, you should do so now. I think that's pretty much it for our news updates and all the reviews. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we have AEW Rampage and NXT Level Up. Now, we also have New Japan, the new beginning in Sapporo. We do know that there's going to be title matches involving the IWGP Women's Championship, the Junior Heavyweight title, television title, Never Openweight title, and of course, the IWGP Global Championship. So, we'll see how that turns out. I really would love to see it. If there's any other events that I know I haven't seen the recent Rev Pro show, and of course All Japan, but hopefully I get to see it soon enough. But for right now, we'll just end things as it is at the moment. I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, mwah, and have a nice day. Bang.